For some of the most pivotal years of my life, tears were tucked back and hidden behind a masquerade of being tough, being a warrior, someone who could hustle, work hard, and get things done. But it wasn't until I started to get more in tune with who I really am that things took off in my business. Welcome to I Might Cry, a podcast exploring how heart, mind, body, and spirit are all deeply woven into the way we do business. With guest interviews from experts in business strategy, therapy, emotional intelligence, the human body, and so much more. I'm your host, Elizabeth Marks of Almond Leaf Studios. I've been capturing luxury weddings around the globe for decades and now have the privilege of educating others on how to build and grow profitable business doing what they love. I'm on a journey of self-discovery, of becoming more of the uniquely beautiful, messy, and complex human that I was created to be, and I want to invite you to do the same. Join me on this adventure of uncovering the walls we've built that keep us stuck in patterns of limitation so that we can journey into living life with arms and hearts wide open. Let's venture into this together. Okay, we are switching things back. I talk so much about allowing your business to be a playground and really just like letting things be a fun experiment, not putting so much pressure on your business and just trying something out. When it sounds fun to try something, just try it. And if it doesn't work, then you change it and not letting things be so like packed with pressure. And so I'm here today to announce to you that we are doing that with the podcast. When I started this podcast, I started it really as just a passion project. I really just kind of had this inclination, this nudge, this internal little like, I think I want to start a podcast. And to be honest, I totally wasn't even really sure why or like what I was going to do with it. And to be completely honest, we still to date don't even really have a marketing plan for the podcast. It just kind of was a place, a location for me to collect my thoughts, to have really interesting conversations, to begin to explore different ideas and to allow others to be invited into that. To me, it's kind of like this beautiful communal space of me getting to just share some of my deepest thoughts and wonderings, some of the conversations that I find so powerful that I think the world just needs to know that this is possible and that these are the kind of conversations that I am having in the world and that they're possible for you too. And so I started the podcast. I'll never forget the day that we launched it. I was walking the beach, up and down a beach that holds a lot of meaning for us. It's been symbolic for David and I over the years of being together. Now, about a decade, we've had some really big moments in our lives happen while at that beach. And it felt symbolic and significant that the podcast was being released at the beach as well. So I released this podcast into the world just really with the intention of wanting to have really amazing conversations. And as it evolved and changed, I decided, recently to start a season 2 to kind of shift gears. And so we started a season 2 where I was kind of testing out and trying little short snippets. It was really for me a consolidation of some of the work that I was already doing. I was already creating these videos for every week that were sent to my copywriter, and my copywriter was using those videos of me just kind of pouring out my heart and what I wanted to communicate to create email copy that was going out, and then also social posts. And then my other team was pulling off of that. There was this whole network of my team that was helping do things based on what was on my heart that week. So we tried to kind of consolidate it and condense it, and it worked really well for a little season. And now I'm feeling this nudge to just go back to having more beautiful conversations, go back to having more guests on this podcast. And I want to call it out that we are pivoting again, and I am living by my own example. Is that what I mean to say? Living by my own example? I don't even know. It doesn't even matter. I'm walking the talk. I am modeling for you. This is what business gets to look like. You get to do it messy. You don't have to be perfect. You get to try something. If you don't love how it's going, you get to try something else. You get to shift. You don't have to make it mean anything. So I'm just doing it. I'm just going back to a different model of what we were doing. And the very next guest that will be on this podcast is somebody that I am just elated to share with you. Her name is Karen. She is my business coach / therapist / energy healer, all bundled into one. And I've been working with her now for probably about 1.5 years. And she graciously agreed to be on the podcast. It is her first podcast episode ever, which I'm just so honored to be that role for her in her life. She's worked with some incredible people over the years and has done some really, really deep work, helping bring a lot more healing and just this beautiful, beautiful experience of life, reminding us all that we are worthy and deserving of a beautiful life, of feeling amazing and abundant and incredible, like every day, all day. So stay tuned for that episode with her. What you can expect moving forward on this podcast is a collection of both. We're going to kind of intermingle the two. So a lot more of kind of messages from my heart, pouring out different business ideas or strategies or systems, things that are coming up in my coaching sessions with my one-on-one coaching clients, some of the group coaching programs like my mastermind. Different things when I'm seeing similarities, I'm seeing issues at hand that keep coming up or repeating, or there's like a big conversation that's had and I feel like we need to go deeper on it, or you need to be privy to that information of what was happening or what that conversation was. It'll be a mix of that. So some solo episodes, but a lot more pulling in guests. So what I would love from you is a couple things. I would love, number one, to know what you're struggling with in your business. I want you to pull out your phone right now. You're probably listening on your phone anyway. Pull out your phone, find me on Instagram, elizabethmarx.coaching, it's elizabethmarx.coaching. Find me on Instagram, shoot me a DM. Let me know what you're struggling with. Send me a voice memo, ramble, I don't care. Tell me what you're up against, what you're struggling with, what you're feeling proud of. I want to know where you're at so that I can know what kind of content to create that will be supportive for you, how I can help you, whether you've been in business for 20 years or 2 days, whether you've hit multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, or you're just trying to hit 10K for the first time ever in your business. Whatever you're struggling with or wherever you're at, I would love to support you in that. The other thing I would love for you to do is to let me know who you are getting inspiration from. Is there anybody that you're like, oh, I just want to hear more from them? I think they would have an interesting conversation. I want you to message me and say, hey, have you ever thought about having this person on the podcast? I want you to know the door is open. I'm all ears. I would love your suggestions. Find me on Instagram and send me a message. Let me know if there's somebody else. And then the last thing that I would love from you is to share this podcast with a friend. The point of all of this is to have these interesting conversations, to remind all of us as creative entrepreneurs, as designers, musicians, photographers, whatever it is that you do, whatever kind of creative beauty you bring to the world, that there is an easier way to do business. That you are deeply worthy and deserving of creating a life that truly feels incredible, that you get to have financial freedom, you get to have time freedom, that you get to feel abundant and amazing, you get to charge what you desire, you get to take time off and bask in the sunshine or climb a mountain or whatever it is that lights you up. And if you know a creative that is struggling or would find a reminder like that beneficial in their life, please share it with them. Share it with them and leave a review on this podcast. It would mean the world to me, and it helps us get this out to so many more people. That's what you can expect from me, and that's what I desire from you. I hope that you are enjoying this podcast. If you have any questions or if you are feeling stuck, if you want to have conversations about money or charging your prices or anything like that, find me on Instagram and let's chat. Things and more coming soon. If you're looking for more, you can find me at elizabeth-marx.com, elizabeth-marx.com, or find me on Instagram at elizabethmarx.coaching. Remember, you are enough. You are love, you are light, and you are worthy simply because you exist.